If the government is going to empower you to take somebody's land, then the government should make sure that you pay a fair price for it and that you give them terms that are only taking what you're supposed to take. It's just been too one-sided for too long, and the landowners need to have a chance of having a fair fight.
One of our priority issues this session is eminent domain reform. What we're asking is for private entities to have certain standards of behavior. We hear horror stories from families and farmers and ranchers who have received lowball offers and then threatened with condemnation through eminent domain.
There's not a day that goes by that we don't get a phone call about eminent domain and people wanting to come on the property to survey, or having received a letter in the mail about a pipeline or a power line, and what should they do next. One of the things that I think about Senate Bill 421, it's the fairness, transparency, working on that bona fide offer, making sure that people are aware of the things that they can get in their contracts. It's just a common sense bill.
You got to remember, you're acquiring private property from someone who really doesn't want to sell it and had no intention of selling it, and then they get a knock on the door and say, hey, we're coming across your land with this transmission line or this pipeline, and if we don't come to terms, if we don't have an agreement, we can take it by eminent domain. That's pretty tough as a property owner. We understand that it's a necessary thing that has to be done, but at the same time, it needs to be more fair.
I think the legislature absolutely will give it an opportunity. From the day I was elected Speaker, though, I've made it very clear the members are going to drive the issues, but the members I'm hearing from are very interested in working on that issue and bringing some resolution.
We're seeing more and more takings involving the land of small farmers and ranchers. Many times the taking is not really big enough or large enough to justify hiring a lawyer or a team of lawyers, and so typically the landowner has to fend for himself or herself.
I think that what they're looking for is an open and honest, fair deal, that individuals have an opportunity to sit across the table without incurring a bunch of legal fees to push through a fair value.
When we're contacted by pipelines or transmission lines, we're always given that hammer of, we have eminent domain authority. We can come in and take your property if we see fit. And it's kind of a scary thing for us, but I think now's the time to get some eminent domain reform done.